The second GOP presidential debate is getting underway in California. The early debate is among several candidates with the lowest polling numbers. Later, the main event will feature 11 candidates. And as Scott Logan reports, there's a lot at stake.
Billionaire Donald Trump will clearly play the lead role in the second Republican presidential debate, which one local political observer says is make or break for the lower polling candidates.
So there's big donors that are wanting to see if their candidate's going to deliver before they, cut bait and move on.
The landscape has changed somewhat since the first debate. Former Texas Governor Rick Perry has dropped out, and retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson is nipping at Trump's heels in the polls. So what's behind Carson's surge?
He performed in a particular way in the last debate that a lot of viewers identified with, right? This very nice guy, right? People like doctors.
People we talk to say they're tired of insults and zingers and want issues.
Absolutely issues.
Do you think they'll get to it?
If they can keep Trump's mouth shut, I think they will.
I hope it's not entertainment. I hope it's more policy and issue oriented.
This Republican presidential primary is quite a horse race with some very unpredictable ponies. But after debate number 2, many expect the herd will be thinned. Scott Logan, KBOI2 News, Boise.
And the buzz is former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is especially eager to confront Trump in tonight's main debate on CNN. Idaho's former Attorney General David Leroy is joining us this afternoon to give us more insight into the GOP presidential nominees. And David, we have to talk about Donald Trump's unorthodox performance seems to only fuel his popularity at times. He gets away with saying things that I think other candidates might not necessarily be able to do, even maybe get nailed for. So how do you explain all that?
Well, if you're against political correctness, it's polite to be unpolitically correct. It's an unorthodox time. It really is an era when voters seem to be less concerned about issues, though motivated, of course, by pocketbook and everything else, but more concerned about personality. And he is the personality in the race at the current moment.
When we take a look at personalities, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest CNN poll numbers. They do show Donald Trump at 27%, and then Ben Carson, Jeb Bush, Mike Huckabee, and Marco Rubio follow him. So we are 5 months from the Iowa caucuses. How much do these polls mean right now?
In looking at poll numbers, you need to understand the old adage, 2 weeks in politics is an eternity. These poll numbers mean very little, but they come in two flavors. First of all, you have national poll numbers, general national preference, and those mean almost nothing in terms of selecting a president, because we don't select a president in that fashion. And the early primaries and caucuses in New Hampshire and Iowa will come along and greatly influence national thinking by next year. Secondly, the local numbers themselves are very volatile, mean literally nothing until we get very, very close to January, February 2016.
Yet it does seem that we are having a lot of interest very early in things right now.
Absolutely, and it's a game of inches. It's a game of momentum. When one can seize an opportunity and deploy useful issues, useful ideas, useful answers, you begin to capture some public imagination. The opinion leaders, the people who count, are paying attention even now. And in fact, in this first debate, where we had 24 million people nationally watching it, it's a very good sign that both the voters and the candidates are paying attention much earlier than usual.
All right, well, speaking of that, what does Jeb Bush really need to do to get back in this thing? He certainly has the money, but Bush generally gets low marks for a lack of charisma.
Well, he needs issues, he needs answers, and he needs some energy. It is true that he is well-financed and will be capable of that on-the-ground campaign that we talked about when New Hampshire opens up, when Iowa opens up, and I expect he'll be well-organized. But you have to give voters a reason to vote for you as well. He's been a little short of reasons, and of course has the Bush mantra on his back. It's either for him or against him, but his little slogan, Jeb with an exclamation point, would suggest that he needs to break out with an exclamation point tonight.
And we'll be watching. David Leroy, always great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You know what? We would like to know what you think about the candidates. Head to KBOI2.com to take our latest poll. Here's the question. Who do you think will become the GOP candidate for president? So take a look closely. Right now, Donald Trump has a significant lead. You can find the survey on the right-hand side of our homepage.